All right. Let me get this fucking microphone adjusted before I start, huh? That'd be a great idea, Nick. Welcome, everybody. It's the pupil's life. It is the pupil's life, you know? That is what you're listening to. I am the pupil. And it's episode 24. It's crazy, man. We've been doing this for 24 weeks now. That is coming up on a half year. I am a pupil, man. Dude, I am nothing but a fucking pupil. You know, all these comedians that have their own podcasts, and some of them call themselves cult leaders. Jokingly, right? But I don't even call myself a cult leader in a joke, dude, because I'm not a fucking... Dude, I can't lead anything but my own fucking day. And sometimes I can't even do that. You know what I mean? But I'm here, dude. I'm living life. Trying to, at least. And this week has been rough, man. Like, not just for me, but just, I feel like it's just been like a rough week, dude. And maybe it's because, you know, anytime a big name passes away, right? Like Prince, Burt Reynolds, who else, dude? I know a lot of people feel weird about him now, but when he passed away, people were still feeling weird about Michael Jackson, you know? And LeBron, no, not LeBron, dude. Oh my God, dude. Really? LeBron James, dude? God damn. Kobe Bryant passed away, man. And, you know, I'm not gonna say that I ever watched him play basketball, really, because I don't think that I ever did. I'm also not gonna say that I was a fan. I wasn't a fan, and I wasn't not a fan, you know? Kobe Bryant wasn't somebody that I paid much attention to, but it puts the world in a weird place because everybody starts, you know, you see reporters on the news crying, and you see people on Twitter all being like empathetic with each other, and just people being real. And it takes death, and not just anyone dying, not just any death, because people die every fucking day, man. Somebody just right now, somebody died, and just right now, somebody else died. But it takes a big name, somebody that everybody is familiar with, for us to all kind of stop and be like, wait, like fucking, God damn it, dude. Why LeBron, dude? Why the fuck LeBron? It's Kobe, dude. Get the fucking facts straight. It's because I watched it's because LeBron's been paying tribute to Kobe, dude. That's why. But yeah, man. There's been a lot of death mentioned, and you know, last week I was leaving my apartment to go to work, and there's a fucking one of the neighborhood cats, dude. One of the cats that I once fed with my own hands, like a stray cat that I once fed and, you know, pet and kind of like let rub up against me. He's just fucking splayed out, dude. Just dead. Just fucking dead kitten. Not kitten. Dead cat. Right outside, like 10 steps outside my doorstep. You know, I walk down the stairs and there he is, dude, on the fucking, in the parking lot. Some asshole must have backed out and not seen the fucking cat. And now there's no fucking cat, dude. You know, when I saw that, dude, I stood there and I was like, oh man. I was like, Like, I whistled at him or her. I don't know what sex it was. But I even whistled at it because I was like, come on, dude, what's up? Why are you taking a nap during the day? Not underneath a car, dude. Y'all usually take naps under cars. Why are you taking a nap in the sun, dude? Over a puddle of water. And the cat was just like not saying anything, dude. And that's when it hit me. I was like, no, dude, please don't tell me he. Oh man. And then you just see the evidence there. Cats don't fucking. You don't whistle around a cat and not grab its attention. And so I don't know. It's like, oh, dude, I was present, man. I'm paying attention to my surroundings, man. Fucking trees and nature, bro. Like, and dead cats. Fucking, because I'm sure some of my neighbors, they've got their Beats by Dr. Dre, bumping Eminem's new album, on their way to their car. Just stroll by the dead cat. Don't even notice it, dude. They're not present. They're probably texting on the way to their car, driving to work, And here I am in my motherfucking sweatpants on a sunny day, dude. And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna try and make today a good day at work. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm gonna try and make today a splendid day, mate. And as I'm walking out of my fucking house, mate, what do I see? I see a fucking dead cat, mate. And I'm just like, I'm just like, bollocks, mate. A fucking dead cat. Bollocks. Dude, it just sucks. I mean, and I don't know if I'm being insensitive, I'm not trying to compare Kobe Bryant to a cat. I'm not trying to draw any fucking anythings, dude. I'm just talking about my feelings. And just that there's been a lot of death this last week. This fucking cat, dude, when I was still with my ex-girlfriend, man, we used to feed the cat my brother's dog's food, Ellie, because sometimes she would even feed him. I think I might be remembering this wrong, but sometimes my ex would even feed the cat some of my ham, some of the ham that I put on my fucking omelets. And I'm so OCD that the ham container, the pack that I buy, comes with just enough portions for like 4 omelets, right? So I portion everything out, right? And so one little piece of ham is like, I know there's no extra, there's no extra for this cat. What are you doing? But she would still rip a little piece of ham off and feed it to the cat. And when we didn't, once I was like, come on, cut the shit, we started feeding her Ellie's dog food. And so there's a lot of memories around this cat. I don't know, man. Maybe it's abstract for you guys. Maybe it sounds silly, just a fucking cat, bro. Get over it, you pussy. But it's not every day that the roadkill that you see is an animal you had a connection to, right? Most of the time you're driving by and there's a fucking dead raccoon on the side of the highway and you're like, oh man, you think about the person that hit it. You're like, I wonder what that was like. Or you see like a dead deer, but it's kind of in the woods as you're driving down the highway, and you're like, maybe it was that a dead deer? But you're not going to turn around because it's a highway, and turning around is an ordeal. But you're still like, oh man, if that was a dead deer, right? You start hypothesizing. So you're You're one step further removed. But no, man, with this cat, I knew the fucking guy. I knew the fucking cat, and it's the first time. I don't know, dude. It really doesn't sit. It didn't sit well with me. It made me feel gross, dude. You know, and it made me. I don't know what it made me, but I guess I just wanted to, say something about it, because maybe that cat's relatives are listening to this, or maybe somebody else saw a dead cat somewhere, and you're going through what I'm going through, dude. Maybe you also had a connection to your neighborhood cat, and some asshole neighbor just fucking was listening to Eminem's new album, right? Texting on their way to their car. They start the car. They don't let it warm up, even though it's winter in Texas, and it's good for your engine. They just start the car. The cat's eyes pop open because it's afraid, and boom, just fucking life ends for the cat, dude. And that's sad, man. That's fucking sad. And Kobe Bryant and his daughter, dude, and everybody else in that fucking helicopter, it's sad. Sad for different reasons, It's sad because Kobe was young. His daughter was even younger. And I haven't done the research because I try to stay away from things like that, But I'm sure that there were a lot of other young people in the helicopter. And that's sad, right? Because they were young, and he had a family, and he had kids, and they had other people, right? Everybody in that fucking helicopter had other people in the world that were, waiting for them to reply to a text, or maybe it was one of them's birthday, and that's why they were in the helicopter. And then with the cat, it's just sad because, why doesn't anybody take that stray in, dude? Why didn't I take that stray cat in? I could have, dude. I could easily have had a fucking cat living in this apartment, I've got enough money to feed a cat, dude. But what's my excuse, right? I'm not in a good enough position in my life to give that cat what, dude? A better life than the life of the streets? It's because I don't know, man. I mean, I'm allergic to cats, but anyway, dude. I mean, I don't mean to start this off on a downer, but it's been a downer week, dude. And there's been a lot of death, and the only other thing I have to say about that is that I almost saw this old man pass away, dude, right in front of my eyes. And I don't know if he's still alive or not, but I got picked up by, I go to these groups for recovery, and one of the groups had a little potluck at somebody's house. So, these people give me a ride there. When we get there, we pull up, and there's this elderly couple standing outside the house next to the one that we're going to. And the people that I'm with, it's a couple that gave me a ride, and the woman's like, "Get out of the car and go help them. They need help." And the guy gets out, and then she looks at me and she's like, "You need to go help too." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah." And dude, this old man was just having something going wrong, maybe he's just old. And his wife was like, just saying, like, "Don't leave, just stay here with me. Don't leave us right now, just stay with us." And dude, it makes me feel like a piece of shit, dude. because I've been, I've had a rough week, right? Like in quotations. And I know the whole, it is all relative, dude, and it does matter that I've had a rough week and all that bullshit, but there I was standing in front of an elderly couple that know that their time is coming, and the old man wasn't saying a word, he just had his mouth agape. The woman was holding his arm, trying to compose him, just trying to keep him here, trying to ground him in the real world. And we laid the man down on the grass, lifted his legs up. Their son came out, and the paramedics never came, so I took that to mean that the man was just having an off day or something. Maybe he went for a walk that was one house too much. But it's just weird shit, man. It's just weird shit, and it's death, and it's all just the shit that you have to think about, I guess, when you're my age, right? I don't know, man. I always hear people say, yeah, when I was in my 20s, I was fucking, dude, I was selfish, or like, I was fucking crazy, dude, my hormones, or this or that. And I just keep thinking, man, like, dude, when does it end? When does the existentialism stop and just get replaced with, like, boredom, dude? I don't know. I don't even know if that would be better, but I sure know that I would at least like to know, that I can be bored instead of existential, dude, because I've been so fucking existential, man. And maybe it's part of this thing that I'm doing, right? Which I might as well fucking start talking about, dude. I've been doing these ketamine infusions, and those have been making me existential, man. Those things have been making me existential, and I don't say existential necessarily in a negative way, even though I just said, I would rather feel fucking bored and yada yada. Existential, by that I just mean, like, it's been making me reassess what are my priorities, What relationships am I neglecting? What relationships am I giving too much attention to? And, just why am I here, dude? And who am I trying to help? Who am I helping, Sometimes I feel like I'm not helping anybody, dude. And then I try and help myself, and I feel guilty, dude, because I'm like, I feel selfish, right? Because people are like, you only care about yourself. And it's like, but other people say you need to start with yourself, right? So I don't know, man, but I've started these ketamine infusions. Let me ground myself in the real world. I've been going to these ketamine infusions for, what is it today? It's fucking January 28th. Yeah, I'm recording this on a Tuesday, I've pulled the curtain back, you're seeing the facade. And I've been going for about 4 weeks now, I guess. No, 3 weeks. I started on January 10th. I don't fucking know the math, dude. And, yeah, I don't really have... Again, I've got one left, dude. You do 6 as part of this clinic's treatment. And I've got one left, and I'll probably talk about it a little bit more after that infusion. But yeah, that's all I'll say about it, I guess for people that don't know what it is, because people are just like, he's doing heavy drugs again. Oh my God. Right. Like, for people that are having that reaction right now, ketamine is the first time I learned about ketamine, people told me it was a horse tranquilizer, right? And that sounds like, why the fuck do you need to be doing that, dude? That's for horses. And then I was like, all right, that sounds like something that people took from the streets, What actually is ketamine, dude? And so I fucking read a book about it called The Ketamine Papers, and I did some other research on it. I gained a wealth of knowledge before I spent my money on this treatment. And excuse me. Oh man, dude, isn't it fucking great when you get the burp, a hiccup, a yawn, all in the same 5 seconds, dude? What was I saying? Yeah, so I did the research, right? I'm read up on it for all you assholes that want to invalidate me just because of your preconceived notions. And what ketamine is it's an anesthetic with psychedelic components. It is known to induce psychedelic experiences, and so aka ketamine infusions, ketamine treatment is just another way of saying that I am dipping my feet in psychedelic therapy, which is a groundbreaking modality of therapy and just a groundbreaking fucking premise, dude. If you don't even know what I'm talking about right now, just do a little bit of research and your mind will be blown, dude. If you like getting your mind blown by things that are good for humans and things that are expanding human beings and growing human beings, then do a little bit of research. Just a little bit. I'm not asking you to open up 10 tabs and read 8 articles and fucking watch 2 videos, right? Just type it into Google, fucking see what pops up, dude. Maybe scroll past the first link or two, because it might be some headline about, I don't know what, dude. Something trying to scare you, right? Propaganda. But, so yeah, ketamine's being used to treat PTSD, anxiety, depression, a lot of different things, and trauma. That's the main thing that that's the reason that I went into it, right? Was like, there's a lot of childhood trauma that I haven't processed fully. It's come to my awareness. I would say 60 to 70% of my childhood trauma has come to my awareness. And I would say of that 60 to 70%, I have processed maybe 70% of it. So, I've still got a lot of work to do. And that's just my childhood traumas, dude. There's fucking relationship traumas. There's what other people just like to label as baggage, so that they can distance themselves from people that they see as inferior. But yeah, so it's used to treat that too, and I think I might have talked about this on a previous podcast in reference to MDMA therapy, where you access your trauma because it takes you into a non-ordinary state of consciousness, and you can relive the trauma and release it, because in ordinary consciousness, your everyday fucking listening to Eminem as you walk to your car and kill a cat on your way out, in that ordinary existence, trauma is too hard to bear, which is why you are listening to the album every second of the day, or the podcast, or movies, or whatever your addiction is, whatever your coping method is. It is helping you to keep that trauma at bay. And these psychedelics help you bring it up, dude. and you know, I'm 5 out of 6 infusions done, and that's all I'm gonna say about it, man. The place that I've been going to, if you're in Austin, Texas, is called Illuma, and I'll give them a shout out because they're fucking fantastic, man. You know, it's one of these weird things where, unlike a restaurant, I guess it's not as different as a restaurant. But you know, when you go to a restaurant, or you're looking at reviews for a restaurant, or you want to endorse a restaurant, right? It's like you talk about the food and then you talk about the service. And with this, it's like you can talk about the experience, and you can endorse or not endorse the experience. But when you're talking about the clinic, Illuma, and I don't even know if they like being called a clinic, dude. I'm saying that just for short term. But when it comes to the service, they, or the staff, you know, how they provide the experience, dude, it's great. You know, I'm not a very social person, and I've already made friends with a lot of their staff, to the point where, like, outside of when I go there, you know, I'm interacting with some of the staff outside of when I am going to my infusions, and they've become a part of my life to some extent. You know, we're not fucking best friends, but they care, dude. They care beyond just like give us your money and fucking have a weird experience and then go talk about it so that other people will want to have that same weird experience. You know, it's not about that, dude. If you're looking for a little weird experience, you're better off just texting your buddy Juan Carlos for a little bit of rock, dude, and just seeing what that gives you, you know? But don't do that. But, you know, if that's where you're at, that's where you're at. And so that's yeah, man. I started in January 10th, and it's only been 18 days. Dude, it feels like it's been fucking 18 months since I fucking started this thing. You know, it feels like this is just what my life has always been like, in a weird way. Like it's hard to think about my life before I was doing this, you know, like what was that like, you know, when I didn't, you know, it's just, it seems so far in the past. And maybe this is my ego trying to bring it back, you know, but the only thing I can say about that is that it's like, and I said this on the last podcast, dude, that maybe it's helping me be a little bit more present, even if being present means experiencing a lot of difficult emotions and seeing things that I don't necessarily like. You know, that's all part of the human experience. And even if it means experiencing those things, dude, I definitely feel like I've been more present. You know, time has slowed down, and it's made everything feel a lot more real in a way. A lot more real, but a lot more I hate using these fucking blanket terms, dude, but like ephemeral. Yeah, that's all I'll say about it, man, because I've still got to figure out, you know, what I'm really feeling about all that. But outside of my pain and my fucking week and my life, some of the distractions, you know, that I've had are, I talked about Eminem's album last week, and there's another album that came out, man, that's just fucking 99.9999% of you will not know who I am talking about, and you should go and listen to this album. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's last name. It's Andy Shauf or Shauf, Shauf. Andy Shauf, that's what I'm calling him. Andy Shauf. That just sounds weird to me, even though it kind of gives people more of an idea of how to spell it. I'm gonna go with just Andy. Andy's new album, The Neon Skyline. It's almost like listening to a short story that you really resonate with emotionally. Just the way that he writes songs, it feels, as I'm listening to it, I'm like, wait, where's the chorus? Is there a chorus? And it's just like, I don't even know if he is doing that, dude. He's just telling a story. You know how sometimes there's comedians that, like Jerry Seinfeld, they can find the premise of a joke, they can elaborate and tell you, sort of unpack the joke, and then they can hit the punchline, right? I'm not a comedian, dude, so I don't know if those are like the three steps. But you know how there's comedians that have their little like delivery system for every joke? It's just like boom, boom, boom. And then there's comedians like Bert Kreischer or fucking I don't know who else, dude, but that are more like storytellers. And I that's what I would equate it to, is the Neon Skyline. It's like it's almost beyond just listening to music. It's like I am being put in the world that he is trying to convey. And at times I even forget that it's like this is a song and it's being sung into my ears, because I'm just like, dude, this is fantastic writing. And the music, like, that's just the writing, dude. The music, dude, we're short a dishwasher at my job, right? And so Saturday nights, I've been doing dishes all fucking night, because everybody else is like, that's beneath me. I'm not doing dishes. And just like, all right, child, move out of the fucking way, dude. I'll do the dishes, right? Because no job is beneath me, dude. Go fuck yourself if you think that washing dishes is beneath you. If you're one of those people that's like, I would never work in the service industry. Like, I would never work in a coffee shop. Oh my god, your boyfriend works in a coffee shop? Oh my god. Or, maybe it's a fucking, oh bro, she works at a fucking oyster bar? Dude, what are you fucking doing, bro? Like, she's not working at a law firm, bro? And you're dating her? Like, if you're either one of those people, dude, just fucking stop listening to me, dude. Gross. Just get away, dude. But I'm not one of those people. And so I'm washing dishes, right? And I remember that the album came out, so I start playing it, and just on repeat, dude. It's like a fucking 6 to 7 hour shift, and I'm just playing this album on repeat, dude. It's a 34-minute album that I play on repeat for maybe half of those 7 hours. And there was a couple moments, a couple times, a few of the songs, that I had to excuse myself and go to the restroom so I could shed a little tear or two down the drain, the sink. And so it caused a lot of emotion. It brought out a lot of emotion in me. It's just a fantastic fucking album, dude. I don't know how to best put it into words, dude. And if I sat down and wrote, maybe I could, but I'm not. This is not the medium for that, okay? Andy Shauf, Shauf, The Neon Skyline, dude. It's on Spotify. It's on fucking YouTube. Wherever you listen to your music, I cannot recommend this album enough. Yeah, man. So listen to that, and then the other album, steer us back in the direction of death. The other album that I listened to, and I dug it. You know, I'm not gonna rave about it as much as I just did about the Neon Skyline, but you know, it's a good send off. Is Mac Miller's Circles, and I've got a very weird and intricate connection to, or relationship, I would say, not connection. He doesn't know who the fuck I am. I've got a very intricate relationship with Mac Miller. Because when I was in high school, dude, I was a piece of shit, right? And when I was a piece of shit, I would just listen to like rap music to feel good about being a piece of shit, you know? So like if I hurt my girlfriend's feelings, I would just listen to Mac Miller, you know, like Blue Suede Shoes. And I'd be like, fucking Blue Suede Shoes. And I would like her feelings don't matter because I am cool. And just be like bumping to that fucking guy's music, you know, kids kicking incredibly dope shit. That was one of the first Mac Miller albums that I listened to. And it's so like youthful, dude, and so it's got such a voice. And it spoke to me when he was kind of maybe, I think he died at 27. I'm 24, so when I was in high school, you know, he was 3 years apart. We were basically the same age, man. And it really resonated with his music. And, you know, over the years, I kept listening to him, but I stopped kind of, you know, he started getting really heavy into drugs. And I still liked his music, but maybe I just outgrew some of it. Blue Slide Park, like some of it started to get a little bit weird and funky. And I think it was more that I just started to drift into, you know, listening to other kinds of rap. And then this fucking guy I lived with, you know, I may have told this story before, but when I first moved to Austin, I lived with this guy. His name was Andrew Lessard. Rest in peace, man. Guy was 23, 22 maybe, when I was 19. And we roomed together, you know, one of those random apartment finders. My first apartment in Austin, Texas. And you know, we weren't like really close friends. I didn't know much about him, but I kind of knew enough to know that he had a weird past, you know, a sketchy sort of, he came from a halfway home in Kerrville, Texas, which is like very well known for people that are in like recovery. And sometimes he would have friends over, you know. I didn't have a lock on my bedroom, but he would have friends over, dude, and they would talk and they would drink Fireball whiskey and watch hockey games right outside of my bedroom. And I was just, I was nervous, dude. I was like, dude, are they gonna steal my shit? You know, I don't know these people, and they have this past that already makes me distrust of them. You know, I've got trust issues, and they've got a past that makes me trust them even less. But the guy was a fucking sweetheart, dude, you know. He was just another lost soul, another hurt person that didn't know how to move through the world, you know. I feel like he did so often that it's hard not to empathize. And you know, he ended up overdosing on heroin. There was some investigation done about whether or not he was given a bad batch of heroin. You know, his siblings were very skeptical of it. And, you know, who am I to say? But heroin was the cause of death. Let's just put it that way. and I found the guy. You know, I was 19. I came home from an improv show, and I hadn't seen him. You know, he hadn't left his room in like a day, maybe 30 hours, 36 hours, which was uncommon. And his music, if it was like, it was uncommon because he usually, if he didn't leave his room, he would have his music playing, and he had like this great sound system. So I was like, dude, okay, something's off. You know, I should check on this guy. Came home around like 10 p.m. and I knock on his door, you know, and no response. I knock on the door again, no response. I try the door and it's unlocked, dude, and I find him, you know, on the ground. It was a pretty fucking traumatic experience, dude. I don't think that I fully realized it in that moment because your body just goes into shock. And, you know, the closest thing I'd ever seen to a dead person or a dead body was, you know, the outline. You know, one time me and my family were driving through East LA on our way to watch Wheel of Fortune live. And we saw one of those chalk outlines of a dead body. And that, I remember that, you know, that was like the closest I had ever come to death before this. But no, he was there, man, and I called my sister and I asked her, you know, what do I do? I called her because my mother wasn't answering. And my brother must have been at work or something. And so I called my sister and she says, you know, have you checked his pulse? No. So I check his pulse, dude. Of course he doesn't have one. And so I call 911. They tell me, you know, this is how you resuscitate somebody, or try to. So try to do this. The paramedics responders will be there in like 2 minutes. And so I do this little exercise. You know, I'm trying to pump air back into Andy's body. And yeah, no, he had been dead for, I think, a while, dude. I don't know. He had been dead for a while. And the whole point of this, dude, is that Mac Miller, I haven't seen the toxicology. I just know the guy looked almost like a fucking exact replica of Andy around the time that Andy died. You know, his teeth were dark. His face was gaunt. His skin was pale. And the way, you know, if you watch Mac Miller's last NPR Tiny Desk concert, it's hard not to see that he was, you know, he was dealing with a lot of demons and dealing with them by doing heavy drugs. And it's just hard for me, man. I don't know. It's hard for me when there's I guess, yeah, I don't really know what the point was, but it's just a sad way to see somebody go, and it's something that is, I guess it is very, you know, very close to me, because I saw somebody fucking up close and personal that went that way, you know, that passed away by heroin, and I touched their body, you know, I tried to bring life back into them and couldn't. And, you know, I lived, Andy had been doing heroin since fucking move-in day, and I didn't even know. And for a long time, I felt like, dude, I should have treated him differently. I should have been his friend. I should have helped him. I wish that I had been able to be there for him, you know, because I feel now like I know what he needed, but I didn't know what he needed when I was 19. And I talked to the trauma specialist that was on site at the crime scene that night, and they said, it's normal to feel this way, and a lot of times when things happen that are so out of our control, we seek control, or we look for how can we sort of find a way to make something out of this. It's like, it didn't make sense to me that he had died. And so I was like, oh, it's my fault. I'm trying to find a way to, I forget the way she worded it. But yeah, it's like you're trying to find a way to ground what you've experienced, because it just is like, this can't have happened. So it must be because of this, right? Like, it can't just be that this happened. It must be that I didn't do this, or that you start to blame yourself. When there isn't really a reason, yeah, that's what she said. When there's not really a reason for why something happened, a lot of people start to blame themselves, right? And yeah, man, Andrew Lassard. I'll never forget that guy's face now, and I'll never forget Mac Miller's face, dude. So if you get a chance, man, I'm sure that his family is going to be profiting from the new album and from his old albums, and I don't know how long, or if you ever really get over the loss of a son, the loss of a brother, the loss of whatever else Mac Miller was, and whatever Andrew was. But go support the man posthumously, because his family needs it. Because his family needs it, and so yeah, that's what I'm gonna say about that. There's been a lot of death, man. What can I say? I know this might be a downer podcast, dude, but sometimes you just gotta have those downer podcasts in order to have those upper ones. And what else do I have to talk about, man? Maybe I can end it on a more positive note. I smoked my first cigar, dude. And I smoked my first cigar, and it was fucking... Dude, it was so fucking stupid. Like, I heard Bill Burr, of course that's why I smoked a fucking cigar, dude. Is because I heard it on a podcast, and I thought it would be a good idea. Bill Burr was like, yeah, of course, you smoke and you feel like a fucking general, like you just won a war. And I was like, oh, dude, that sounds like a good feeling. I'm going to chase that high. So I smoked a cigar, man, for the first time. And I don't know what I did wrong, dude, but I hurled vomit, man. I was in the fetal position, in my shower, just letting hot water run over my body, like, just reeling from the experience. And it wasn't even like, it wasn't like getting like high, where you're like woo for a second, and then you're like, oh man. It was just like, okay. And then it was like, fuck my life, dude. Yeah, man. Dude, I just keep thinking about negative shit, man. I thought I could make it funny somehow. And maybe there's still some funny in there, but but I can't find it right now, man. So what else, dude? I'm fucking, I'm here, man. I'm in Austin. I'm writing. I'm trying to push through the 20s, to push through the early 20s, dude. Because unfortunately, I'm just not one of those people that was gifted with blissful ignorance. I can try to distract myself, and sometimes I'm good at it. But when I am, it's usually because the distraction is not a pleasant experience. Like the fucking cigar, dude. It's almost like because I've been very anxious, dude, this whole week. And I had my bike accident a few weeks back, and now that I'm like fully recovered and like I'm not having to deal with any immediate physical pain, and all my emotions are coming back up, and it's like anxiety and fucking, oh my god, this is unbearable. It's almost like subconsciously I was like, what else can I do that will make me feel physically ill so that I can feel that instead of my fucking emotions? And it's crazy, man. It's crazy how fucking human beings work. And that's where I find solace, is that as human beings we are so nuanced and we're so fucking rich in detail, dude, and in just nuance, man. There's so much to every single human. And it's interesting to uncover that, as hard as it is and as painful as it is, and as much as sometimes it just feels like you can't do it anymore. It's better than the alternative, dude. It's because you see Mac Miller and you see Andrew and you see Kobe, dude, and you see that cat or that old man. I guess the old man, he's lived a life, but all these other people, and you just think like imagine if they had overcome their demon and by overcome, what I mean is not, like they beat it and they're free at last, because that doesn't ever happen, dude. But overcome in the sense that they've come to understand it and live with it, coexist with it, maybe is a better word. Which would, imagine if they had been able to do that. And I sometimes I feel like I am coexisting with it, but not in the full definition of the term, because to me coexisting is like you're it's almost like it's like peacefully existing in the same space. And I don't really know that I'm coexisting peacefully with myself, dude. You look at the facts objectively, and you would say I've got it pretty fucking good, dude. And not just I've got it good, but I'm doing a lot of very fun and rewarding things that a lot of people would like to do, but maybe are too afraid to do, like this fucking podcast, like writing about things that I'm scared about, and not letting the consequences of publishing those pieces keep me from that experience and the benefit that you reap from sharing yourself so vulnerably with other people, and seeing them then in turn share their vulnerabilities with you. And I've got a job, dude. I'm working like under 40 hours a week, which allows me time to do other shit. And I've joined the YMCA, dude. I'm swimming. I'm working out again. I'm eating, semi-healthy for somebody my age. I would say I'm eating pretty fucking healthy for the standard, of my age range. And I don't know, dude. It's just like there is a lot still holding me back, though. And it's all just me, you know. It's not like whatever it is. It's me that's still holding me back, you know. Maybe it's my childhood traumas or whatever, but it's still me that's allowing those things to hold me back. And maybe some of that subconsciously, maybe unconsciously, whatever the term. But it keeps you from coexisting with yourself, and so that's why I think things like ketamine treatment and psychedelic therapy, MDMA therapy, psilocybin, all these things are very interesting right now, because it's like so many people feel the way that I feel, and so many people feel the way that you feel. You know, wherever you are listening to this right now, so many people feel the way you do. And nobody likes to talk about it, because there's shame around it, you know. I was talking to a friend of mine, an acquaintance really, a few months ago about this podcast, and she was saying, like, yeah, it's just really, it's a lot, you know, to listen to the podcast, and it's like it's very heavy sometimes, and it's, you know, and she was saying it almost like in a disdainful way, and it's just like, that's exactly what I mean, dude. Is like people feel burdened by these things. I feel burdened by these things, and we don't have to, you know, because if it was like, dude, oh, fucking, dude, I'm out of a job, dude, I've got to fucking find a new job, dude, oh, yeah, it sucks, man, but like, fucking, you just kind of start doing it, right? And you sort of figure it out, and then all of a sudden you've got a job again. If it was just like that, dude, it wouldn't feel like such a burden, you know? It's like, fucking, oh, dude, my mental health is doing well, you know, I'm doing well with my mental health, and then you get fired, dude, and you're like, fuck, dude, you know, you break up with somebody, and it's like, your mental health takes a hit, man, for 3, 6, 9 months, maybe a year, dude. But if it was just like, yeah, dude, I just broke up, so like, I need to work on my mental health right now, right? Then fucking, you would just, I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know. Again, I've been very existential, man, and it's one of the reasons I like having this podcast, dude. You know, sometimes I'm having a silly time, and sometimes it's my therapy, man, and I hope some of you, and you know, I hope that at least one of you gets something from this, you know, because it's not just about me, man. It's about all of us, and it's about just not being so fucking aggressive, man. That's what's been weird about this week, dude, is that like these reporters who, even though they're sports journalists, they're still very aggressive with each other, dude, right? They're like, oh, well, fucking Kawhi Leonard said this the other day, and we don't know about that. And now that fucking Kobe died, they're being real on fucking camera, you know? And it's just like, why can't that be just who you always are, man? You know, you don't have to be crying, but do you really give a flying fuck about what the latest celebrity said or tweeted? Like, really, dude? Really? That's how much you fucking care, dude. I don't know, man. That's the fucking podcast. That is the pupil's life, dude. I'm just fucking trying to learn something out of this weird thing that we call life, and share it with people that that would like to learn with me. So thank you for listening. Thank you for putting up with this if this was heavy for you. And I'll see you next week.